Madeline Harper had mastered the art of invisibility. Not the kind of invisibility that science could explain or fantasy books glorified, but the real kind. The emotional armor built from silence, shrunken shoulders, and avoidance. She had learned long ago that being seen often meant being hurt. So she perfected the quiet shuffle, eyes down walk, and zippered lips that let her survive her daily walk through the halls of Westfield High unnoticed. Or at least, she had hoped. 17 years old, petite pale, and painfully introverted, Maddie was the kind of girl who turned away when called on, who shrank when laughed at, who flinched at even kind attention. Her oversized hoodie became her shield, her messy ponytail a curtain. Her sketchbook, her sanctuary. Inside it lived worlds no one else knew, stormy oceans, starry skies, and monsters that looked suspiciously like the classmates who whispered behind her back. She wasn't always this way. Maddie used to be louder, braver. She used to laugh without fear of how it would sound, to speak without rehearsing her sentences in her head first. But then her mom died when she was 9, and something in her cracked. Her dad, Sergeant Daniel Harper, had stepped up the best he could. A seasoned SWAT commander, Daniel ran his household like a mission brief. Orderly, structured, safe. But emotions. That was enemy territory. He gave Maddie everything she could want: food, warmth, a secure home. But what she needed, emotional connection, someone to say it was okay to cry. He didn't always know how to give, and so Maddie cried quietly, drew quietly, lived quietly, which made her the perfect target. Kenzie Monroe had perfect teeth, perfect hair, perfect cruelty. The captain of the cheer squad and daughter of a wealthy plastic surgeon, Kenzie lived for attention, and nothing got more laughs than tearing down someone too weak to fight back. With her best friends, Rena Chavez, whose dad owned a string of car dealerships, and Taylor Griggs, a TikTok star wannabe, they made Maddie their personal punching bag. At first, it had been subtle: a shove in the hallway, a snide remark, a stolen pencil. But as months passed and no one intervened, it grew darker, meaner, more physical. Once, they dumped yogurt in Maddie's backpack. Another time, they stuck gum in her hair. But Maddie never fought back. She cleaned the mess, wiped her tears in private, and kept going, because she believed she had no one. Her father was a fortress, untouchable, always busy. She feared disappointing him more than anything, so she stayed silent. But on a Monday morning in late October, the dam broke. It started like any other day. The air was cold, leaves scraping along the sidewalk as Maddie walked the 3 blocks to school. She clutched her sketchbook to her chest, her headphones drowning out the world with lo-fi music. She made it to her locker, swapped out her books, and ducked into homeroom just before the bell rang. No one noticed her. But Kenzie did. Kenzie always noticed. During 3rd period, Maddie got a pass from class to return a borrowed textbook to the library. It was supposed to be a 10-minute errand. But as she walked past the trophy cases toward the old gym wing, a shortcut she used often, she felt that now, familiar chill, footsteps, then a hand. Before she could react, her mouth was covered. "Shh, little mouse," Kenzie whispered, breath hot and venomous against her ear. "We've got a surprise for you." Panic exploded in Maddie's chest. She twisted and kicked, but Rena and Taylor were right behind, grabbing her arms, dragging her around the corner. "No one's gonna find you here," Taylor sneered. Maddie's sketchbook hit the floor with a thud, sliding across the linoleum like a piece of her soul. The girls shoved her through the door of the girls' restroom by the abandoned locker room. The lights flickered dimly. It smelled of mildew and bleach. No security cameras. No passing traffic, just them. Kenzie shoved Maddie toward the sinks, pulled a black marker from her back pocket, and smirked. "Let's make you pretty, freak." Taylor laughed. "Draw her a mustache," Arena giggled. "Or devil horns." Maddie tried to run, but Kenzie blocked her. The other 2 pushed her against the tiled wall. The marker cap popped off with a click. "Hold her," Kenzie barked. "No," Maddie cried, the word echoing pathetically. She kicked, scratched, bit, but she was too small, too weak, too terrified. And then, boom, the bathroom door didn't just open. It exploded inward with a sound like thunder. "Gideon, Girodin." The voice that followed wasn't a teacher. It wasn't a principal. It wasn't a hall monitor. It was a command born from battlefield experience, from hostage rescues, from raids at midnight. The girls screamed. Kenzie dropped the marker. Taylor raised her hands. Rena backed against the stalls, eyes wide with terror. 4 men in black tactical gear stormed in, weapons raised, moving in perfect formation, and behind them, Sergeant Daniel Harper. Maddie blinked. "Dad." Her voice broke on the word. She trembled, tears now falling freely. Daniel's eyes scanned the room in an instant, assessing, calculating. He saw his daughter's torn sleeve, her reddened face, her arms pinned by the other girls, and the mask cracked. "Let her go," he growled. Kenzie froze. Her hands shook. "We were just—" Daniel took one step forward, and Kenzie dropped Maddie's arm like it was on fire. Maddie collapsed to the ground, sobbing, crawling toward the door. One of the SWAT officers scooped her up gently, whispering, "You're safe now. You're okay." Daniel stepped aside to let his team secure the scene. Rena was cuffed and read her rights. Taylor was crying so hard she could barely speak. Kenzie kept insisting it was just a joke. But Daniel wasn't listening. His eyes were on his daughter. She looked so small in his officer's arms, broken, shaking, and he realized he had missed it, all of it. 10 minutes earlier, the Westfield SWAT team had been doing a hostage extraction simulation in the police department's new training center, just down the road. It shared a fence line with Westfield High. They had been preparing to breach a mock building when they heard the scream. A real scream. One that didn't sound like a drill. Daniel had recognized it instantly. His daughter. He didn't hesitate, ordered his team to move. Within 2 minutes, they had scaled the short fence, stormed the side of the school, and kicked in the nearest access door, with badges flashing and weapons cleared for safety. Now, the worst part was over, but the questions remained. In the nurse's office, Maddie sat wrapped in a fleece blanket, sipping water with trembling hands. A gentle school counselor sat beside her, offering tissues and soft words. Daniel stood outside, his arms crossed, jaw clenched. The principal, Mr. Weatherby, was stammering through apologies. We had no idea this was happening. Madeline never filed a report. Daniel's stare was ice, so no one noticed. Not a teacher, not a student. She was being tortured for months, and no one saw a thing. Mr. Weatherby flushed. I'm deeply sorry. We will begin a full investigation. She's a minor. Those girls assaulted her. In a locked room. That's not a school matter anymore. That's criminal. Daniel snapped. I'll be pressing charges. The man nodded, sweat beading at his temple. Of course. Daniel stepped inside the nurse's office. Maddie looked up, eyes red. I'm sorry, she whispered. I should have told you. Daniel sat beside her and took her hand. His calloused fingers gently enclosed hers. No Mads. I should have seen it. They sat in silence. Then Daniel did something rare. He hugged her. Not the quick, awkward pat on the back kind. A real hug. Strong, warm, unshackable. And Maddie broke again. Because for the first time in years, she didn't feel invisible. She felt protected. The next day, the story broke wide. A video from a hallway camera showed the SWAT team breaching the school doors. Local news anchors couldn't get enough. SWAT team intervenes in school assault. Victim is officer's daughter. The footage of Maddie crying in her father's arms aired that night, followed by footage of the girls being walked out in cuffs. Kenzie Monroe's parents hired lawyers. Rena, Chavez's dad, pulled his dealership ads from the local station. Taylor's mom tried to spin the story into a misunderstanding, but it was too late. Westfield High changed overnight. No one laughed at Maddie now. Some tried to apologize. Others offered kind words. A few even sat beside her at lunch. But Maddie didn't want pity. She wanted peace. She went back to drawing. Her sketchbook was returned to her, pages only slightly smudged. On the inside cover, she scribbled something new. Even when no one sees you, someone always hears you. And the next time she walked past the gym bathrooms, she didn't flinch. Because she remembered the sound of the door crashing open, and the look in her father's eyes when he said, "I've got you."